your hand on your desk right now, or the arm of your chair. Feel its surface? It is solid. It is consistent. It belongs to you. Now, I want you to imagine that tonight. The only thing you have to put your hand on is a blistering, sun-baked nylon tent zipper along a dried riverbed in San Diego, or a rusted door handle of an old vehicle parked in a dark canyon outside the city view. You are sitting completely frozen in the dark, checking your watch, waiting for the coastal fog to roll in so you can quietly pull a plastic tarp over your frame and set an alarm for 5:30 a.m. Nearby, a mother is holding her child close, whispering softly because the air is heavy with heat, dust, and the agonizing sound of toddlers struggling to breathe through a chronic respiratory flare-up. She looks through the mesh window of her temporary shelter and feels the crushing weight of a silent panic. He can't breathe because the air is thick with highway exhaust and canyon dust, and I feel like this environment is suffocating his future every single day. This mother isn't an outcast operating outside the boundaries of human ambition. She is a dedicated citizen who is working 40 hours a week in a hospitality position on the waterfront until an aggressive corporate lease renewal liquidated her domestic security in less than 30 days. It is May 2026, and California is holding up a mirror to the extreme contradictions of advanced urban architecture. We are living through an era where the Golden State has completely uncoupled the basic cost of human survival from the reality of local human wages. The region is no longer just a postcard of scenic beauty and limitless opportunity. It has split into two entirely different Earths that exist side by side in a state of high-stakes friction. One Earth is the glittering landscape of international tourism, multi-million-dollar waterfront properties, luxury estates in La Jolla, and pristine coastal avenues where wealth is displayed 24 hours a day. The other Earth is a relentless, open-air survival gauntlet where an estimated 187,000 human beings are experiencing a profound displacement on our sidewalks, parks, and concrete overpasses. Welcome to Homeless US. I am a professional scriptwriter, and I am the eyes on the asphalt. I do not look at our communities through the sanitized filters of real estate promotions or political talking points. I document the raw human hearts trapped in the structural machinery of an economy that has run out of accessible homes. Today, we are tearing back the curtain on the California illusion to explore how hyperinflated rents, infrastructure decay, and a severely fragmented safety net are working together to turn paradise into an extraction zone for the working class. Stay with me for the next hour, because what we are about to uncover regarding geographic displacement, behavioral health realities, the failure of multi-billion-dollar municipal budgets, and the quiet resilience of our unhoused families will completely change the way you see the modern workforce forever. If you believe every single soul deserves a secure, permanent place to close their eyes at night, hit that subscribe button right now. Let us look through the lens at the reality of the invisible population. Part 1. The Sovereign Void, the scale of California's domestic crisis. To understand why the social contract is fracturing across California in 2026, we have to look past the coastal harbors and look directly at the cold mathematics of the regional ledger. The state is currently facing an unprecedented crisis of human displacement that scales larger than any other jurisdiction in the nation. The comprehensive data compiled during the recent annual point-in-time counts confirms that approximately 187,000 individuals are living without a stable home across California on any given night. This isn't a statistical variance or a temporary fluctuation. It represents a permanent structural displacement that has transformed the public square of our major cities into zones of immediate biological survival. The concentration of this crisis is uniquely severe within Southern California. In San Diego County alone, over 10,000 human beings are actively identified as living without a fixed address, establishing makeshift structures along dry riverbeds, hidden canyons, downtown sidewalks, and isolated industrial corridors. What makes this landscape so deeply unsettling is not merely the velocity of the numbers. but the absolute proximity of his suffering to the display of historic wealth. Just blocks away from multi-billion-dollar luxury developments and pristine tourist districts, entire families are operating in a state of permanent hypervigilance, carrying their remaining life assets in canvas bags and shopping carts while navigating an environment that offers zero systemic protection. The data reveals that 42% of this displaced population is completely unsheltered. They do not possess a temporary mat in a municipal shelter or a spot in a transition facility. They live entirely exposed to the elements, the noise pollution of the highways, and the persistent threat of code enforcement sweeps. This population represents a direct cross-section of the California workforce: former service employees, hotel housekeepers, logistics clerks, military veterans, and aging seniors over the age of 55. A single unexpected medical deduction, a vehicle mechanical failure, or a sudden rent adjustment was all it took to slide these citizens off the economic floor. Now, they're forced to conduct their entire private lives in the full glare of the public square, trying to maintain their personal hygiene and preserve their remaining dignity within an environment that treats their existence like a visual defect in the architecture. Part 2. The silent attrition, the decay of the urban lifeline. While the visible markers of the housing crisis command public attention, a far more dangerous, quiet attrition has been systematically reshaping the urban neighborhoods of California from the inside out. In historic sectors across San Francisco, Oakland, and inner-city San Diego, the everyday fabric of neighborhood livability is experiencing a profound, incremental decay driven by the total absence of accessible space for the working class. This transformation does not occur through a single catastrophic event that makes the national evening news. It happens block by block, avenue by avenue, through the slow accumulation of structural pressure. Public parks, green spaces, and urban walkways that historically functioned as spaces for family recreation and civic connection have been transformed by necessity into open-air bedrooms for citizens who have nowhere else to go. This concentration of extreme poverty within shared spaces creates an immediate, persistent friction between housed homeowners, local small business owners, and the unhoused population trying to survive on the concrete. For the local retail and hospitality economy, this friction translates into immediate operational strain. Small shop owners within high-pressure corridors report significant contractions in foot traffic and escalating security maintenance costs, impacting neighborhood employment vitality and accelerating the flight of small businesses from commercial zones. Longtime residents express a deep, pervasive sense of unease as the infrastructure of their daily routines changes around them, leaving communities to feel less secure and less welcoming than at any point in their history. But for the person sitting on that piece of cardboard or resting inside a vehicle on a side street, the city is not an abstract policy debate. It is an unforgiving environment where they are forced into constant motion to evade civil citations. Without a private door to close, a kitchen to prepare nutrition, or a secure restroom to maintain basic sanitation, the simple act of staying functional requires an enormous expenditure of daily physical capital. This quiet deterioration reveals that housing instability is not an isolated challenge contained within a single demographic. It is a systemic infection that degrades the health, vitality, and character of entire municipal neighborhoods, proving that an urban ecosystem cannot remain sustainable when it treats its lowest-earning workers like disposable inputs. Part 3. The Interwoven Gauntlet, Behavioral Health and the Street Loop. We must confront the deeper, intersecting complexities that lock thousands of our unhoused neighbors into a permanent loop of street-level precarity. In 2026, the connection between chronic housing displacement, deep psychological trauma, and behavioral health dependencies has become completely inseparable, creating a public health crisis that cannot be resolved through law enforcement or simple temporary measures. Public health assessments across Los Angeles County and the Bay Area demonstrate an overwhelming overlap between long-term shelter loss and behavioral health vulnerabilities. When an individual spends months or years sleeping on raw concrete, exposed to the constant threat of violence, theft, and environmental extremes, the human nervous system enters a state of permanent trauma. The brain's alarm systems are rewired by deep sleep deprivation, causing individuals to develop chronic anxiety, severe depression, and complex post-traumatic stress disorders simply as a consequence of their survival environment. To blunt the raw physical pain of joint deterioration and the intense psychological shame of public exclusion, many individuals turn to behavioral dependency mechanisms available within the unregulated street market. This dependency is not a cause of their displacement. It functions as a desperate, chemical attempt to self-medicate an underlying condition that the system has refused to treat. Once this dependency loop locks in, the barrier to re-entering the housing market becomes a vertical wall. Without a stable, quiet room to store medications, manage withdrawal symptoms, or achieve baseline psychological safety, clinical recovery remains a practical impossibility. The street environment magnifies the vulnerability of the individual every single day, draining their remaining focus until their entire cognitive bandwidth is consumed by immediate biological survival. The human cost of this interwoven gauntlet is visible across every urban avenue, where ordinary citizens are left to slowly physically and mentally wither in plain view of a society that chooses to judge their condition rather than examine the structural failures that engineered their fall. Part 4. The starvation of basics, the logistics of daily deprivation. The baseline measurement of any advanced civilization is its capacity to provide its population with reliable access to the fundamental requirements of biological life: water, nutrition, sanitation, and shelter. Yet, across San Diego and the wider counties of California in 2026, thousands of citizens are forced to operate in a state of permanent daily deprivation, turning every single 24-hour cycle into an exhausting marathon for basic physical survival. Community health assessments document that over 10,000 individuals across Southern California face regular, critical shortages of clean drinking water, climate-controlled shelter, and basic hygiene facilities. Without a stable domestic base, the human body is subjected to a constant physical toll. During the summer months, workers and families must navigate scorching concrete temperatures that pass 140 degrees, carrying every single asset they own in the heat, while searching for a public fountain or an overpass that isn't blocked by private security fencing. Basic nutrition becomes entirely sporadic, dependent on the scheduling of local charity distributions or the scavenging of commercial waste, leaving children and older adults operating in a permanent state of caloric deficit and low physical energy. The breakdown of sanitation options carries a severe, documented tax on physical health. Going days or weeks without access to hot water or a private restroom ensures that minor skin abrasions, insect bites, or dust irritation turn into deep, infected wounds that require emergency medical intervention. For an older adult managing a chronic respiratory condition or mobility limitations, the total absence of a safe bed ensures their body never drops into the deep restorative stages of sleep. Every single choice they make from sunrise to sunset is dictated entirely by immediate survival logistics. Where can I wash my face without being cited for loitering? Where can I close my eyes for 2 hours without my shoes being taken? How do I keep my child's school uniform clean while my workspace is the back seat of a sedan? This relentless pressure strips away personal privacy, erodes self-worth, and destroys the mental bandwidth required to plan even a single day ahead, trapping families in a state of absolute survival mode, while the basic comforts of a shower and a home meal remain completely out of reach. Part 5. The multi-billion-dollar mirage. Why large budgets fail to deliver. One of the most profound and polarizing paradoxes of the California housing crisis is the complete disconnect between public financial output and ground-level results. Between 2019 and the present year of 2026, the state government has allocated billions of dollars across various emergency assistance programs, housing trusts, and municipal service contracts. Yet, if you walk through the capital of Sacramento or the major agricultural hubs of the Central Valley, the audits and the sidewalks confirm that the number of unhoused citizens remains at a historic high. This structural failure is not an accident of funding size. It is a clinical demonstration of why large budgets yield limited results when they are funneled through a fragmented and inefficient delivery system. The multi-billion-dollar allocations are directed primarily toward short-term shelter operations, temporary triage interventions, and highly bureaucratic non-governmental administrative layers. This creates a massive corporate industry centered around managing the visibility of poverty, rather than investing capital directly into the production of permanent, non-market social housing units. Furthermore, the physical construction of low-income units across the state is choked by a gauntlet of hyperinflated development costs, endless corporate permitting delays, and restrictive local zoning laws that make affordable multi-family construction a legal impossibility across vast residential sectors. Consequently, when an individual manages to clear the intense compliance hoops of a state program and receives a housing voucher, they quickly discover that there are zero actual physical apartments available to receive them within their budget. They are trapped inside a bureaucratic pipeline, cycling between temporary shelter mats and short-term motel placements, only to be dropped back onto the pavement the moment the administrative contract expires. The money is burned on compliance processing and short-term triage management, while the underlying structural deficit, the total lack of physical, permanent roofs for the working class, remains completely unaddressed, leaving the unhoused population to bear the physical consequences of a system that is long on capital but entirely short on structural solutions. Part 6. The frontline friction, nonprofits under systematic strain. In the center of this institutional vacuum, the primary responsibility for immediate human survival has been shifted onto the shoulders of non-governmental organizations and community-driven outreach teams. Frontline providers like PATH in Los Angeles and local housing coalitions across the Bay Area operate as the primary safety net for thousands of displaced citizens, providing direct case management, mobile medical navigation, and immediate nutritional support. These organizations possess a level of structural flexibility that massive municipal bureaucracies completely lack. They descend directly into the riverbeds, the canyon camps, and the industrial side streets, meeting the unhoused population exactly where they are without forcing them through rigid administrative gatekeeping. They provide the essential tools of basic survival, helping a worker replace a destroyed birth certificate to pass an employment screening, providing clean socks to prevent infection, and maintaining a non-judgmental human presence that preserves a person's relationship with hope. But in 2026, this shadow safety net is operating under a state of severe systematic strain. As the high cost of living continues to drive more working-class families off the economic floor, the demand for nonprofit services has far outpaced their available resources, funding pools, and staffing capacity. Outreach teams are forced to ration their care, managing waiting lists for basic transitional housing that stretch across multiple months. This friction creates a deep emotional tax for both the helpers and the helped. Caseworkers spend their 60-hour weeks absorbing the immediate trauma of the street, watching families they have supported for months get displaced by sudden municipal sweeps that destroy their progress in a single morning. When our nonprofit networks are treated as a permanent substitute for a functional state housing policy, the support becomes fragmented and fragile, leaving the unhoused population to navigate a broken puzzle of services while the concrete remains their primary residence. Part 7. The Blueprint for Reconstruction, Permanent Integration Models. If California wants to halt the systematic destruction of its working class and reclaim the public safety of its urban neighborhoods, It must move completely away from the illusion of short-term management and implement a bold blueprint for permanent structural reconstruction. The housing data from 2025 and 2026 confirms that the state requires the immediate production of well over 100,000 dedicated, affordable, and supportive units across regions experiencing the highest population displacement, including San Bernardino and Riverside counties. True stability cannot be achieved by building more temporary shelters or expanding punitive ordinances that criminalize the act of sleeping outside. It demands the execution of a permanent integration model that couples a locked front door with direct, long-term supportive care. We must establish a system of permanent supportive housing where individuals are placed immediately into a secure apartment, providing the nervous system with the baseline stability required to drop out of fight or flight mode. Once the housing foundation is secure, integrated wraparound services, including on-site mental health care, clinical dependency counseling, and vocational training programs, can follow the individual through the long, difficult months of personal adjustment. Furthermore, our state must execute an aggressive overhaul of its regulatory environment, removing the lengthy permitting procedures and local zoning restrictions that allow affluent neighborhoods to legally exclude low-income developments from their borders. We must prioritize proactive prevention programs, deploying direct financial stipends to working families experiencing a short-term crisis before they enter the housing court network and receive a permanent eviction mark on their record. Realigning the state's immense financial resources away from administrative management and toward the immediate, automated production of non-market housing is the only mechanism that can transform homelessness from a permanent national crisis into a rare, brief, and non-recurring event. Part 8. The Awakening of Homeless U.S. The crisis of human displacement across California in 2026 is a definitive turning point for our entire economic structure. It is a mirror held up to our collective conscience, asking whether we can truly claim to be a successful or civilized society when we possess the capital to build the world's most advanced technological hubs, yet choose to allow our infants, our workers, and our elders to live as shadows in the dirt of our canyons and sidewalks. The preservation of our public spaces and the survival of our unsheltered neighbors are not two competing political priorities. They are the exact same human emergency. A city cannot remain healthy, secure, or prosperous when it forces the very class that keeps its industries moving to live in a state of permanent biological precarity. True progress starts when we refuse to allow this suffering to remain hidden behind travel brochures and macroeconomic reports. We must look through the lens with absolute clarity and recognize that the line separating the housed from the unhoused is not a reflection of individual character, ambition, or morality. It is a clinical reflection of an exclusionary housing market that has run out of space for ordinary earners. When we choose to back structural, long-term solutions that prioritize human dignity over real estate speculation, we are not performing an act of charity. We are rebuilding the very foundation of our shared civilization. I want to hear from you. This documentary only matters if it breaks through the noise of the digital space and transforms into an active conversation within our community of awareness. After exploring how the mechanics of rent inflation, budget fragmentation, and environmental trauma are driving thousands of families toward the brink of street-level survival across California today, what do you think needs to change first? Should we legally mandate a statewide cap on rental listings indexed directly to the median wages of local workers? Or must we focus entirely on forces that strip away local zoning control to mandate the mass production of state-owned social housing? Have you witnessed the signs of this hidden crisis within your own town or your own workplace? Please leave a comment below. I read every single one because your voice is what builds this channel, Homeless US, into a vital force for structural truth and human empathy. If today's investigation challenged your perspective or validated a reality you have witnessed on your daily commute, please do me one simple favor. Hit that like button right now. It is the simplest and most powerful way to help the YouTube algorithm share these human realities with more people who need to understand the structural causes of poverty. If we choose to remain silent and look away, the extraction machine continues to operate without challenge, and the floor will continue to give way beneath the vulnerable. Subscribe to Homeless US and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming investigations into the hidden realities of modern life. Don't let your awareness stop when this presentation concludes. Transform your empathy into consistent, practical action within your own neighborhood. Support frontline outreach groups, mobile street medicine teams, and housing advocates in your home district who are working around the clock to provide direct aid to the working poor. Volunteer your hours at a local distribution center. Donate basic necessity supplies like water, clean blankets, and hygiene kits, or advocate fiercely against criminalization ordinances in your own local city council assemblies. The next time you pass a service worker or see a neighbor navigating their day, look them in the eye and recognize their profound worth with a simple word of respect. We are the ultimate safety net for one another. We leave you tonight with a quiet prayer for every single soul navigating the high-stakes survival gauntlet of our world tonight. May you find a moment of absolute physical safety and deep mental rest in the hours ahead. May the weather be kind to your workspace, and may your home remain a secure haven from the weight of unmanageable debt and the pressure of the market. We pray for the parents balancing their budgets in the quiet kitchens tonight, for the children trying to study by the light of a phone screen in the back seats, and for the workers setting their alarms inside the quiet vehicles. May a hand reach out to you tomorrow that doesn't want to exploit your labor or ignore your dignity, but wants to offer you a genuine key to a door that locks and stays locked. May fresh hope rise in your heart, and may you know that you are not an input, you are not a statistic, and you are deeply valued by the human family. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying with us for the entirety of this presentation. Your time, your focus, and your deep attention are the most valuable assets you can offer to this movement. We are not just filming the concrete of our world. We are witnessing our neighbors. We are recording the real human history that our modern systems want to conceal beneath corporate growth metrics and polished indicators. We are all just walking each other home, bound together by the same fragile threads of timing, health, and luck. Let us carry more empathy in our hearts and more courage in our daily actions starting tomorrow morning. We will see you in the next investigation from Homeless US. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other out there. Hallelujah.